but I am very much looking forward to today's coaching session with the one and only Nico. This is gonna be my first lesson with Nico. She is a content creator for 100 Thieves, speaks both English and Spanish, bilingual streams from cooking streams to Among Us to other gaming and chess content, because she has been playing chess on her streams already months before she even knew she was gonna be in Pogchamps. She was already playing chess on her streams. I'm really looking forward to today's coaching session and helping Nico get even better at chess, because I know she has experience. She created her account on October the 10th in 2019, not a new account, but I'm curious to hear more about her chess background and in what ways I can help her. I'm gonna be here to help her as much as possible to get ready for the tournament.
Whatever you say, Boomer. Okay, Boomer. Yeah.
How are you doing, Nico?
I'm doing so good. I'm really excited. I haven't had a chess lesson in so long, so I'm really excited.
You'll need to let me know about your chess experience, because I've been looking at your chess.com account, and also just to tell the viewers, I think we played Among Us like months ago, and then when I went over after our Among Us session to your channel, you were playing chess, and I was so pleasantly surprised that I come over after the Among Us gameplay and you were playing chess, and I asked you in the chat, I remember I asked you if you play chess, and you were like, yeah, I play casually. So I'd like to know more about your chess experience. When did you learn to play chess, and have you ever taken any lessons or played in a tournament?
So I end of 2019, I met Andrea and Alex.
Yeah.
Because I think Butta, I don't know if you know who Butta is, but Butta, he lost a bet. It's he's one of Alex and Andrea's friends. He lost a bet, and then he had to do one of my TikTok dances because he followed me on Twitter at the time.
Oh.
But I didn't know who Butta was at the time, and then next thing you know, someone sent me a link, and at first I got a little upset. Not actually, but I got a little like I shook my fist a little bit. I was like, are they making fun of me? Like, they're making fun of my TikTok dances. And then next thing you know, they came over. They're like, no, we're not making fun of you. And then next thing you know, they're like, do you want to learn chess? And I was like, sure. And then I ended up being addicted to it. I feel like everyone has.
Oh.
And then they gave me a couple chess lessons, and then I started playing a lot of chess. And then eventually I was like, it's like too competitive, and I felt like maybe I'm not like good enough. But I felt like with this whole Pogchamps thing, it's more of a it's more of a like more beginner friendly environment, because I know a lot of people take chess super seriously, and I just feel like it's more casual, it's nice, it's more like a chill vibe. So I'm really excited to join Pogchamps for that reason.
I'm glad you feel
really
about
like
it
chess.
that way. Yeah, it comes across that you really like chess, but I also understand it can be very intimidating to enter any tournament that's with experienced players, because if you just like to play casually, then it can be frightening, the amount of people that have been studying chess for years and years, and they might have years and years of experience competing or playing online. So that I fully agree with you that Pogchamps in that sense is a lot more casual and welcoming to absolute beginners, such as Poki and Miko, who are also my students. They've only just started, and Michelle also has just started. So out of the girls squad, I'm coaching all four of you, but you're the one with the most experience, lady.
I've seen, like, for example, I think XUC started like not too long ago, and he's already at 1,000 elo. And I think the highest I've ever gotten was like 700, but I just play casually, so when I lose, I don't really get too upset, but hopefully I could get better this time.
Sure. I'm gonna be here to help you get better. And on that note, I was also wondering, have you ever taken a lesson? Because I have been looking at your account, and I know that you were gonna have a lesson with Andrea, but then I couldn't find the VOD. So let me know, have you taken any lessons, or is this your first ever lesson for Pogchamps?
I've taken lessons with Andrea and Alex. I think other than that, I haven't really taken any lessons aside from them.
Sure, but no coaching sessions yet for this specific tournament. I mean, no. Not for Pogchamps. Amazing. I'm gonna get you ready for the tournament then, lady. I'll just need you to be on chess.com, live chess. And by the way, I was trying to send you a squad stream invite, but it tells me that your settings don't let me send you an invite. I don't know why.
On squad stream?
Yeah, I was trying to invite you. If not, I have a link. I have a command on my channel to yours, so I hope that people will have both channels open so that they can see you as well. I have a Nico command. Guys, please keep using !Nico. That's Nico's channel where you can join her. We are streaming on both channels right now.
I think that's a lot easier. I also made a bot as well, but
thank
I
you.
only put your name. I only put your name, but yeah, I think putting your link would be a lot easier.
Oh, it's all right. Don't worry. I just wanted to make sure people can see you. It's more important that they see the student than the coach. The coach could be just a bot voice. It's not important if I'm here physically.
No, just as important. Just as important. Whatchamacallit? Yeah, so I'm completely ready.
Awesome.
I'm ready.
Awesome. I just need you to go to chess.com live chess, and I'm going to invite you to an analysis board as soon as you are there. Oh, I just keep forgetting your username because it has many numbers in it. It's Nico7147, right?
Yes.
7147. They should give you the full Nico name because that's you. That's your brand. I don't know who has the Nico account.
I literally am. I have a group chat with chess.com. I'll have to ask them. Maybe they will let me have the Nico username.
Do ask. You should definitely ask because if it's not an active user, they definitely will be able to arrange it.
Okay.
Let me know if you see the invite. If not, I'm gonna send it again. I think
Okay, there we go.
Amazing, you're in.
Okay, let me put the screen up. What does IM mean, Anna?
IM is my title. It kind of feels like it just says I'm Anna, like that's my name. No, but it's one of the chess titles. So we have certain titles such as Grandmaster, and IM is International Master. So the IM title is the second highest. Grandmaster is the overall Grandmaster. That's like Hikaru. Hikaru and other star players, and my title is the one below Hikaru's title. Well, I'm miles away from Hikaru with or without title, but in terms of titles, it's the Grandmaster title, IM title, and then Woman Grandmaster and Woman International Master, all sorts of different titles.
Wow, that's really cool. So you're right under Hikaru in level, I guess?
In terms of title, but he would be like, he's above the Grandmaster level. It's just that there are no more titles to give, so we say Super Grandmaster. We say Super Grandmaster because there's no official title above, but he's like one of the best in the world, so that would be like Elite Chess Grandmaster, Super Grandmaster.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I'm gonna give you the white pieces for this first practice game. What I want you to do first is to make moves as if I was your opponent. So I'm gonna simulate a Pogchamps level type of level.
Okay.
And I want you to talk through your thought process because I want to pick up on how do you think through the game, and that will help me more to see where can I help you exactly.
Okay. All right. So are you gonna be maybe moving the black pieces?
The white pieces. Start with the white pieces. I'm gonna move the black pieces. And we're gonna see how is your thinking process during a chess game.
Okay, I'm so nervous. Okay.
Don't be. We can always take the moves back because this is an analysis board, so it's all right.
Okay. So I'm gonna move my pawn from F2 to F4 because I want to start developing my knight. So I want to start developing my pieces, and I just know that developing knights is a good thing.
Mm-hmm. I saw this pawn push in your games, and I was curious if you have learned this specific opening, or why do you choose that pawn in particular? I'm curious.
I choose this pawn in particular just because it already starts pushing towards the center, so I already have an advantage. I know that most people that watch play chess usually push like D2 or E2 pawn forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I just am so adamant about developing my pieces because I feel like that's one of my weaknesses is that I don't develop my pieces fast enough if I don't start like immediately.
I see. Sure.
I run into that problem a lot.
Do you know that this opening has a name, by the way?
Is it birds opening?
Yes, it's the bird's opening. So that's gonna be Nico's opening. Unless you want to change, I can teach you more openings later. But for now, let's stick to your play and your thought process. So I'm gonna make a move, a response from Black's perspective, and I want you to keep going and keep telling us why you make each move.
Okay, so I'm going to be making, I'm going to be moving my knight from G1 to F3 because even if you push the pawn to D4, I could take if I need to, but my following plan is going to be moving my D2 pawn.
I
So
see.
you don't keep pushing forward. But I'm hoping not to have to use my knight because I don't want to lose my knight to a pawn.
Sure, that's what I was gonna ask you. So if I push the pawn, you're saying you could take, but you don't really want to.
No, I don't want to. My
Okay.
plan is to push. My plan is to just push my D pawn so you don't get any closer.
Sure. At the same time, let me ask you about this move, because that's the one you want to prevent, right? You don't want me to
Yeah.
keep making these pawn pushes or expand. What happens, let's say you make any other move and it's my turn again. What happens if I push my pawn to that square?
And I'll be forced to take the pawn and I will have stacked pawns, and that's really annoying.
So you don't want to have stacked pawns.
No.
What if that stacked pawn was a free one, though, an extra for you, if you win a pawn? Would it be worth it?
You might repeat the question.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering. Let me just make a different move for you so that we have this on the board. So you're afraid of this pawn push because if you take it, that's gonna double your pawns. Then you will have stacked pawns, right?
Yeah.
But is it bad to have stacked pawns if it's one extra for you? Because right now you would have 8 pawns as you start the game with 8 pawns, but I only have 7, so I lost one on the battlefield. Then is it good or bad to allow that push?
I don't think it's too bad because let's say for some reason the only attack I see right now is the queen, and if for some reason the queen wants to take my pawn, I could take with my bishop or another pawn. So I mean it's not horrible, but it leaves my king exposed, which I don't like that.
I see. You don't like that this is open.
Yeah.
Can I attack you through that file though? So it's good that you're looking at it.
Not
I
yet.
like your thinking. I like your thinking that you're aware that, oh, my king could get a check through that file. But right now, it's not an immediate danger, is it?
Right, it's not.
Mm-hmm. By the way, if you want to keep that pawn in front of your king, you also have this move, right? You can take with this pawn. Would you feel safer about this? I'm curious.
Yeah, I would, because I don't know, for some reason I get stuck that way and you end up attacking my bishop somehow. I could take with my queen.
Mm-hmm. So you feel
As opposed
safer about this structure and also
Yeah.
your king. Okay.
Yeah.
We can do it this way as long as you feel safe. That's the most important, that you feel safe. So would you let me put my pawn here, or do you still want to prevent this?
Well, it would be my turn, right?
Yeah, I was just making a different move for you instead. So I'm curious if
Okay.
after this, would you still prefer to stop me?
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't convince you. That's all right. That's all right. I tried.
Yes,
tried.
because I mean, I want to start developing my knight and my bishop anyways, so it like starts to open up a little bit more, so I could develop my knight and my bishop.
Sure. Can you draw me arrows where you want to place each piece, just so that I understand more the structure, the setup you're going for?
So I want to kind of go like that, and then hopefully push this up this way, and then push this up Pushes up this way, and then pushes up this way.
So you want to put the bishop on d2 and then push c4 to get the knight out to c3. Yeah, right?
Yeah,
I'm looking at these arrows.
I want to attack the pawn at d4 with the pawn at e2, moving it to e3 before I move my knight. Before I move my knight, yeah.
I see. Okay, I'm gonna make a couple of moves and see how you carry out your plan. I'm curious. I'm gonna place my knight here.
Okay. Okay. I think I might want to. I feel like I want to move this here.
Were you afraid that my knight might jump here? Is that why you're pushing the pawn?
Yeah. Yeah, and then I get caught into like a check between a check and then yeah. I've
this, right? The knight fork.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's all right. It happens. We're gonna work through this on which threats need to be addressed and which ones you can ignore, and so that you can keep developing. Because the only issue with moves like this is that yes, you do stop me from jumping there, but it's a move that, because it's a pawn push on a flank, it's not helping the rest of your pieces to develop. So you still have your minor pieces on the back rank and you still could not castle. So the more time we spend on pawn pushes, the less time is left for our pieces, if that makes sense. We divide pawns into one group and the pieces, knights, bishop, rook, queen, king, to the other group. And we want to focus our time mainly on the bigger pieces. Pawns are important because they create a structure and you need to push them so that you have a path for your pieces. But we're going to try to push only the pawns that are absolutely necessary, because every push costs you time. So imagine it as one time unit per move. So you are using this 1 unit of time for a pawn push that's not helping that much the rest of your pieces.
Yeah.
So what you could do is to evaluate how big of a deal this move is. So even if you let me play this, will you be in an immediate trouble, or will you still have time to react to that knight move?
I think I still have time to react to that knight move, because let's say if you move it here and for some reason you got here, I could take with my queen.
True.
So I don't think it's too bad of a situation for me.
Sure. So if you don't need to stop me from it because you noticed correctly that your queen could take back, then what would you play here if you don't worry too much about this?
Probably this. Pawn to c3.
Look at you, that pawn push not only attacks my pawn, but also prevents this. So you are making a multi-purpose move
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. It's great.
You have now achieved what you wanted. You were worried about this move, but at the same time, this move makes more sense for development because you're challenging a pawn that's keeping your position restricted, and you want to get your knight out to this square. That's why you want me to trade, right? If I take, I'm pretty sure. Actually, am I sure which piece you want to take back with? I'm curious.
Yeah, no, it would be my knight.
Yeah, that's very nice because that's a developing move. So your knight is out of the back rank. Capturing that pawn for black is certainly not the best move, but I want to continue from here, and later we can make adjustments to the bird's opening and what setup you go for. For now, I just want to focus on your thought process. So let's keep going with, for instance, a move like this. And how would you develop the rest of your pieces? So I want you to focus on your bishops and tell me to which flank do you want to castle and how will you execute that?
I think I would like to castle kingside.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I feel like when I castle queenside, it's a little trickier sometimes. I can't really explain how, but it just seems a lot trickier every time I've developed queenside or castled queenside.
Mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense, and already you have traded your c pawn, so you would have less protection around the king if you were to choose the queen side. So very good instinct to go king side. That's usually safer.
As far as my bishops, I probably push my g2 pawn to like. I actually don't know what I would do with my bishops, to be honest with you.
Sure, so let's figure it out together, especially the king side, because what's the most urgent side to develop is the side where you want to castle, because we want to make sure that we can castle as soon as possible so that your king doesn't get attacked. It's easier to attack a king before it's castled because it's more vulnerable. So we want to develop this bishop first, as soon as possible. Let's try to find a path for this bishop because currently it's stuck, right?
I think I'd push my pawn from g2 to g3 then, maybe?
Yeah, you could perfectly do that. That's a really good move. So you're about to place your bishop on which square do you want to? On this diagonal, which one is the one you are looking at?
Probably g2.
Very good job. This is a setup that even has a name. You don't have to remember names. I'm just telling you because if it has a name, it usually means it's something good. So when you push your pawn to g3 and then the bishop has a little house under that pawn, it's called a Fianchetto or Fianchetto setup. And it's usually a cool thing to do because I'm going to make some moves and then we will see exactly on the board how it looks when you get your bishop out there.
Okay. And then just, do I move that there?
Yeah, I'm going to make a move for black. And what would you do here next?
Maybe move my knight to d5.
Here? Or another
No, sorry,
square?
no. E5, sorry.
E5. Oh, yeah, so you want to start to attack. I see. Aggressive move. I thought you were gonna castle. I was so sure that was gonna be your next move. So.
Oh yeah, I probably should have done that. No, I think that would have been better.
It's okay because we are analyzing. We can take the moves back. Not that your move was bad. I like that you had already an attacking idea in mind. But let's make sure that our king is safe before we jump on the opponent's throat. So we're gonna castle first, tuck in the king as much as possible, and then you can go for those attacking ideas.
Okay.
Let's suppose I don't remember that I should castle that quickly and I make a queen move like this, for instance. How would you react?
I think I would still attack with my knight.
So you want to place the knight there. Have you taken a look at the captures? I'm curious if you have considered what would black do here, or what could black do here.
Yeah, I felt like black could take my knight, and then I take with my pawn.
And what do they do then?
And then that's as far as I've gone.
Don't worry, we're gonna practice visualization. So very good. Knight captures knight. Pawn captures knight. What can black do there? Try to see that position in your head. You can draw if it makes it easier.
I think I feel like queen might take my pawn at e5.
Yeah.
But the only other move I could think of from there. Yeah, I think I'm kind of stuck a little bit. I don't know what to do from there.
Sure, but you don't mind giving up the pawn, or would you rather not?
I feel like maybe I'd rather not give up the pawn.
Sure, then let's think of something else. These are tricky, but what you can sometimes observe is that, let's say you want to make this knight move. So what you could do in your head is to try to picture your knight there, or even draw an arrow. I don't know if it helps you, but many of the streamers who also compete say that drawing an arrow or highlighting the square helps them think. So you could do that too. And before you make the move, you just double check if that's a safe move for you. And by safe move, I mean a square where you will not get captured. So first thing to check, is my piece hanging there? Here it's not exactly hanging because it's guarded by a pawn, but you should also pay attention to how many of the opponent's pieces are staring at that square. So it's the queen and the knight, and you only have the pawn helping. So it's 2 versus 1.
The only thing, I mean, let's say we're going forward with that attack.
Yeah.
I would probably want to push my d3 pawn to d4.
Sure, so you're sacrificing the pawn. You're telling me, Anna, you can take it, it's yours. Let's see. Let's play it out.
No, I would probably move my pawn before I move my knight.
Oh, okay. You want the support of this pawn. Now I understand what you're doing. You want to push this pawn here so that then you could prepare your knight jump. That makes sense. That makes sense. You have now a second pawn guarding that square. Good, very good thinking. I'm gonna try to counter it with an amazing, active, aggressive move, bishop to here. What would you play here?
If I move my knight there, then you could take with the other knight. No, wait. If I put my knight here, you take with the other knight, and then I could take with the pawn, and you could take with the queen, and then I could take with the other pawn.
Yes.
Wait, why is the bishop aggressive? Because I don't even know how that it's attacking, and I'm scared now because I don't know what you're planning.
No, I was just teasing you. That's a very bad move that I have made.
Oh, okay.
It's a bad one.
I was like, wait a minute. I think you're trying to confuse me.
Yeah, I am trying my best to confuse you, but no, it's not a good move. But it's tricky because I want you to think about that move, because your idea was to place the knight here, right? And now you have double checked that if we take everything on this square, you're gonna end up winning my queen, because now you have 2 pawns, right?
Yeah.
But another thing to consider before you make your move is to quickly check where your piece is going from and to which square you're landing. So you need to take a look at the square where you are going, the e5 square. This is what we have just done. But another important detail is, what is the knight doing right now? Because once you move that piece, it will no longer carry out the same duties. So at every move, whichever piece you move, they will all have pros and cons, every single move. Sometimes the pros are way bigger than the cons, but it's important to take into account that everything that the knight is doing on f3, it will no longer be doing once it's on a different square. Is there anything that the knight is guarding from here that's important?
Maybe it's guarding the king?
It's guarding the king, that's important. Very good to look at first the king and the security of the king.
I don't know. Other than that, I'm not sure what else it would be guarding. Maybe like just. I don't know what else it would be guarding.
You've just drawn.
I looked at all the squares. I looked at all the squares and I don't know what it's guarding.
So it's guarding the king, and what else? You were drawing one of those arrows too toward a pawn of yours. Which pawn was that?
This one?
That and another one. So it's guarding 2 pawns. In fact, you are right.
This one.
So when the knight moves, it will no longer guard either of those pawns, and the king will be somewhat less protected. But can this pawn be touched by any of the black pieces? Can it be attacked real quick?
I think it might. The queen could possibly attack that way. Maybe, or the knight. The knight on f6.
So if it was possible, it would take a few moves at least, right?
Right.
How about the other pawn of yours? Is that in danger?
This one, right, on d4?
Yeah, once your knight moves away, is that pawn in danger? In immediate danger?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes, because the knight on c6 could attack that, and then, I mean, unless I want it to, like, just wreak havoc over here, I might have to use my queen, probably.
Yes, so what we are saying is that if you move the knight away, this capture would be good for you. This is the one you were checking, that now the pawns are very powerful. They're attacking the queen and the knight, and if the queen takes, then you have won the queen. This is the calculation you've done, and that's correct. The only thing is this other pawn, because as you said, the knight from here was guarding the pawn, and now it's no longer guarding it, so black could go and capture this pawn either with the knight or with the queen. So we would lose this pawn. Not the end of the world, it's just a pawn. I'm just saying that maybe sometimes we're gonna modify our plans. It's good that you had a plan. So I really like that you were heading for knight to e5, and as soon as you realized that I was controlling it with too many pieces, then you backed it up with the second pawn. So I like the thinking. I really like that you know the direction in which you are going. But we'll also learn to sometimes put aside the plan we were going for, because we could spot maybe something even stronger, something even better. Because my pieces, what do you see when you look at the black pieces? Do you think they are well coordinated? Or does it feel like it's a bit crowded in there?
I think it's a bit crowded. It looks a bit crowded.
Yeah. And how about the black king? Has it castled already?
No, it hasn't castled yet.
Yeah, so the king hasn't castled yet, and the black pieces are kind of crowded in here. That should give you a clue that if there was a way to get a path and access toward the black king, then we would be doing very well. So let's try to think about aggressive attacking moves that could approach the king and what square it could be, especially if you could do it by attacking another valuable piece on the way. So what would be the second most important piece? After the king.
To move?
To attack.
Oh,
so we are aiming for the king, but it's still quite far from our pieces. If on the way to the king we could attack the second most important piece.
Maybe we could move knight on c3 to b5.
Because that move attacks
the queen.
The queen! And that's unfortunately for me a huge danger, because the queen is the most valuable right after the king. So anything that attacks the queen, I'm gonna have to run. But where can I go? Do I have many squares for my queen?
Yeah, I mean, you could move to d5. And also you could, no, that's probably it.
Yeah, I have very few options. I have this or this.
Or you could go,
These are the only two squares where my queen doesn't get taken immediately. But I'd like you to think of this. Let's try to visualize this, because I know you can. Imagine my queen moving to this square. Can you find a very strong move for you that would win lots of material?
If I move my knight, if I move my knight like g5.
You want to jump with this knight to target my queen. That's good instinct. Very good instinct.
I honestly, I know I should move my knight. I actually just don't know where I would move it, I guess.
It's good instinct that you're looking at the knight and how to attack the queen, but maybe there's something even easier. It might be something even easier. Just the current position wouldn't make it a good move. That's why visualization, it can be very difficult, because the queen where it is now, it kind of is preventing or guarding the square that you will want to go to. And once the queen moves, it no longer is guarding it. Can you see what's the square or piece or pawn that the queen is no longer guarding once it has moved?
The pawn at C7?
Yes! Very good job. What happens if you capture that pawn? Oops, that's not the arrow I was gonna draw. What happens if you take that pawn?
If I take that pawn, I check the king and I could take the rook.
It's a check, it attacks the rook, and what else does it attack? And I know it doesn't look like it's attacking because in this position it's not there, but visualize where the queen has gone and what's the position like after the knight capture.
Oh, I have like a three-way check because I could check the king. I could also take the rook and the queen if she moved already to d5.
Perfect. Very good job. Knight takes c7. We call it the royal fork. Everything is hanging because it's the king, the queen, and the rook. So all the most important pieces are attacked by your knight. This would be a winning move. Of course, the game still goes on, but you're winning a queen. Well done, lady. Woo! Very good job. And sometimes these moves are difficult to see in advance because in this position the queen is guarding the pawn. It's only that after the queen moves that this is free to take. Let's see if I could survive by moving the queen here. Is this a better move for me?
I guess it is a better move for you, but I could still like check the king and still take a rook.
Very good. Yeah. So let's do it. This is my move. I want to keep the queen, but I cannot keep everything on the board. This is the second move, but not helping too much when my king and my rook are under attack. I have to move the king, unfortunately. That's the sad news. I'm gonna try to move it in that direction in case it's safer. And I have taken my rook for free. Oh well, that's not very good news for me. I'm gonna try to attack and see if I can scare you with a pawn push or two. What would be your thinking here for the rest of the game?
I feel like this is a trick question.
Oh, no. Don't. Please do not take it like that. Again, just imagine this is a normal game at about your level, and all you need to do is keep making good moves. But oftentimes, almost every position has a couple of good moves. It's not like there's only one, and you have to find that one move.
Okay. I would probably attack the queen again.
Good! Because you're attacking my queen and at the same time you're developing your bishop. Very good job.
I haven't moved any of my pieces on the board yet,
Excellent thinking that even though you have captured my rook already, you want to develop the rest of your pieces because the more developed, the easier it will be to convert it into a full point. Very good job. I'm gonna take this pawn and hope for the best.
I would
So are we worried that our opponent has just taken this pawn, or was it worth developing the bishop?
I think it was still worth developing the bishop.
Very good.
I mean, he can't really take another pawn or like more material because I could take with my queen. If he takes a rook, I could take with my rook if he takes a pawn.
Yeah. Very good job. So it's okay to give up a pawn, especially since it's helping you develop quickly and bring more and more pieces into the game, while I still am struggling with my pieces and I have lost the rook already. So a pawn is not a big deal as long as it speeds up your development. What's next? How would you develop the rest of your pieces?
Okay. So I would maybe move my I would maybe move my maybe. Okay, hold on.
Take your time.
Hold on, Anna.
Take your time.
Hold on.
Take your time. You can do it, girl. Take your time.
Okay, maybe I could push my pawn at e2. No, maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I don't know what I would do with this. This is kind of scary. I would move my knight to g5.
Mm-hmm. Where are you going with that knight? What's your target?
Hopefully getting to. I don't know. I feel like it's like invasive. It's like invasive. So I don't know. Maybe I'll scare the other opponent a bit.
It's good thinking. You want to scare me and you want to invade the black territory. Again, the only thing though is that every move, remember that whatever you move, it will change something in the position that currently is guarded or protected. So in this case, this knight again, what is it protecting at the moment?
It's protecting the king, and it's also protecting the bishop. I guess the only reason I wanted to move it there is because I don't know what I would do if you moved the knight here to e4.
So it's also for defensive purposes. You don't want to allow the opponent's knight here. I see.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Let's go with it if you want to play that, or do you prefer to change your mind if I'm gonna tell you that I'll capture your pawn? Because I like a free pawn or two. I already have a rook down, so I'm gonna collect whatever I can.
What if I move my pawn to e3, like I move this here?
You could if you want to have a super safe structure for the pawns. It looks funny. It looks like we are playing a zigzag game or such. It's checkers, kind of like checkers, except for this one that has to be on a dark square too. But yeah, it does guard the pawn, so you could do that as a preparation. And now if I make this move, because you were a little bit scared of this move, how can you respond to this move? And do I have an immediate threat as black? Am I threatening to win anything?
I mean, you can move your knight to. No, I guess not, because if you take my bishop, I could take with my queen. And I could take with my knight, and if the queen tries to get my knight, I could take with my queen.
Very good job. So it's defended. It's well defended. Attacked by 2, guarded by 2. Excellent.
I think. Yeah, I don't know what else to do aside from here. Maybe move my knight on a8. Probably not. I mean, it's not in any like danger.
But it's good thinking that you don't want to leave it there in the corner, right? Because it's just standing there.
No, it's just like sitting there. Yeah, I mean, at any moment, I guess if you move your pawns and move your king, I'd have to move my knight eventually. But
yeah,
I think it's fine there for now.
Very good. For now it's fine. I agree. Now, what is it that bothers you the most about black's position? Like, it's a rook up for you, so you should be doing very well. At the same time, which are the pieces of black that scare you, or that are keeping you under a few threats? Which are those pieces?
E4 knight, D6 knight, and B2 queen.
Yes. So in any position, when you are not so sure what to do, there are 2 things you can always do in whatever position. Is that one is that you focus on improving your own pieces, so that you search for a way in which you can, let's say, bring in the rooks, activate the queen further. So those are some of your pieces that aren't doing too much at the moment. So you can focus on your own pieces. Or the other side of the coin, you can try to focus on decreasing the power, the potential of your opponent's pieces. So in this case, that would mean you try to chase these away or trade them. In one way or the other, if you get rid of those pieces or you make them go back, that means that you're improving your position, because your opponent's pieces will no longer be that threatening.
Yeah.
So how could we, for instance, chase back the queen or start threatening it?
I can move my bishop to c1 again.
What happens if you move your bishop there? Let's visualize that move. What changes in the position if your bishop is on the back rank?
Well, it's not developed anymore.
Not developed? What happens to the rest of the pieces? Does it impact any other piece?
Oh, you could get the queen could get the rook.
Yeah, unfortunately it cuts the connection between the queen and the rook, so the rook would be hanging in the corner. Good that you spotted it, so we need to be careful about keeping these two connected.
And then you were saying how I could chase away the queen?
Chase it away or try to trade it because you're up material. Don't worry, you're doing so well, Nico! I feel like I'm terrifying you when you're doing really well. So we're gonna try to figure this out together. So we let's say we are focusing on the queen because it's an annoying piece. It's attacking many of our pieces, even if nothing is hanging directly. It kind of is tying down your pieces. You can't just run away with the knight because the bishop is hanging. Yeah. You can't put the bishop here because the rook is hanging. So it's annoying. And because it's annoying, we want to chase it away or trade it. Let's see, what would be a way to trade it if we are thinking of trading the queens?
Maybe attack with my queen?
Amazing. What square would be good for attacking the queen with the queen?
c1?
Very good job. I saw many of the viewers mentioning queen c2 as a joke. That would be a Bottas gambit. I don't know if Andrea and Alex taught you the Bottas gambit, Nico.
Yeah, that was very well known to me. Saw it happen a couple times.
Yeah, it happens to all of us, but we try to not play the Bottas gambit. We accept the Bottas gambit. So it's okay if the opponent does it. We try not to do it ourselves. So very good job that queen c1 is no Bottas gambit. Potential Bottas gambit for black, because now black has to react in the right way. Because if not, we're going to take their queen. So what do you think they would do here? What would be... what do you think would be annoying to you if there's any move that comes to your mind that you don't like here? Maybe there's none. I'm just asking personally. Is there anything that would scare you?
That the queen would move, or like any pieces would move after me moving to c1?
They should react to your move somehow. So they have a couple of options. They could take your queen. They could run away. Not that the queen has many squares. To one of the few squares it has, they could go back. Or they should try to guard the queen. So they need to make sure they don't play the Bottas gambit by defending the queen or moving it away.
I mean, they could... They would probably... I think they would probably move the bishop from e7 to a3.
Yeah, that looks like an aggressive move, isn't it? At least it's not going backwards, but going forwards. Yeah. So it looks like black is attacking. How would you react to this? What's your thinking here? Let me know.
I would move my bishop from d2 to b4, and then No, that doesn't work. Bah.
You wanted to distract my bishop, right? You wanted me to take it with the bishop so that you could get the queen. I think that was the intention. So the idea was good, that you're thinking about tactics if you can win the queen. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's good that you check it.
I would probably just take.
Very good. Very good. Because trading is good for you, right? You are a rook up, so the simpler the position, the better for you. This is what... I don't know if you feel about trades that way or not, but other Pogchamps participants have been not so happy about trades. What do you think about piece trades when it's equal pieces? So you trade a bishop for bishop, you trade a queen for queen. Are you afraid of them?
I like it a lot. I like trading like my pieces, like a queen for a queen or a bishop for a bishop or like a knight for a bishop. I prefer not to do that just because I really like my knights and my bishops. So if I could keep both of them on either side, that'd be great. But I like doing it because the less pieces you have at the end, I just think it's like harder and it's like less to deal with as well. So you just, I mean, if you're just running around with a rook and a king, it's kind of like fun to it gets intense at the end.
I'm glad that you like endgames. I think you're the first that says that you don't mind that the position becomes simpler. Endgames are fun to play too, so that's great. And especially when you're up material, so in this case you're ahead, you have a rook up. That means that the more you trade, the more likely is that you will be the only one that has a rook on the board, because I will not be able to match it. I only have one rook. If you trade my one lost rook, I'm not gonna have any.
Right.
So it's good that you are trading. In general, we're gonna be talking about trades, but I'm happy to hear that endgames don't scare you. And when you're up material, you do want to trade, yes. What do we do here? I think that bishop is threatening something. What is it doing?
I think I moved I think I'd move my rook to B1.
Very good job. You're moving away from the square that was threatened by the bishop, and you're attacking my bishop, so I need to move my bishop now. I'm gonna move it here and see if I can trick you. What am I threatening?
You're threatening my bishop. So, I mean, I rather like I think I'm just gonna do this.
So you are taking on b7 because have you calculated what happens if I take your bishop? What's your idea?
Yeah, you take my bishop and then I take with the
You take with the knight?
With the knight, and then I check your king, and then I just take your other rook.
Oh,
and
you
then
want to give her a check from here, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's double check this calculation because it's very messy. This is a long line, so let's try to do this. Bishop takes bishop. Knight takes bishop. Knight takes knight. And that's when you want to give a check with the rook.
Yes.
Is that a safe square for your rook?
Oh, no, it's not. Oh, my God. No, it's not. I did not see that.
But the cool thing about chess that sometimes even a mistake is still fine because you are on the right track by instinct. I feel like it's your attacking instinct that was like, yeah, this move has to work. And even if you don't see yet why it works, it's gonna work. So let's play these moves out. I'm gonna take your bishop. Yes. You take it, I take it. And now, even though you don't have this check, so don't worry. Sometimes our plans don't work. We're gonna find something else. We're gonna find something else. What is it that black is threatening here? First of all, we need to address what is it that black is doing.
It's threatening my rook, so I would probably just move it like this.
Yeah. And very important that you're moving your rook in a way that it's attacking the knight, because what else is hanging in black's position? Is there any other piece of black?
Oh, yeah. This right here.
Is that hanging, or is it? Would it be a trade?
It's not hanging. It's not hanging. It would be a trade.
Any other piece? Scan all the pieces of black, and by pieces I mean the bigger ones. So we can ignore the pawns for now.
Oh, yeah. This.
Amazing! So what happens to me if you are threatening both my bishop and my knight? Can I deal with both threats at the same time?
No.
I cannot. So, in fact, your move, rook takes pawn, that you made 3 or 4 moves ago from that position. So, this very long line, you ended up taking this pawn. Yes, you may have had a different idea. You wanted to go for that check, but overall, it's working because even in this position, I'm in trouble because too many of my pieces are hanging. Too many are in the air.
So this is a good thing.
This is a very good thing. It means that you're a genius because you went for this without realizing why you went for it. So it's like just pure instinct. You went for it by instinct.
It's that. Exactly.
No, very good job.
Totally have instinctual chess senses.
I believe in your instincts and your chess instinct and knowledge, Nico. I know that you did this on purpose. I'm gonna run with the knight and hope for the best. What will you do here?
I would just take.
Very good. You don't let me have a second chance for that bishop. And now what's hanging in black's position? Let's look at the rest of the pieces. What's in the air?
I could... What's hanging? Like, what are they?
Yeah, which pieces are unprotected?
So, this is it. Oh, this.
Ooh, the big one, right?
Yeah, the bishop.
Very good. Now the knight is in the air. So when I ask you about unprotected pieces, we mainly look at the bigger ones. So knights, bishops, rooks, and queen. The pawns are you can also take a look at, but that's the least important in the queue because, of course, if a rook is hanging, you're gonna take the rook and not the pawn. Or if the king is in trouble, you're gonna go for the king and not take the rook. If you can give checkmate instead. So in order of priority, it's always the king. The king first and foremost. If you can give checks, if there's any checkmate pattern you notice, and then the bigger pieces, if any of them are in trouble. And it's the same about your position too, because we're gonna, I'm gonna show you later how to keep checking if your pieces are safe, because we wanna make sure that our pieces are safe, and that our opponent's pieces, whenever they are in the air or whenever they are hanging, we're gonna try to spot it and capture them. But very good job. That knight is in the air, so I'm gonna have to deal with it. I'm gonna move it here. Have I solved my situation? Have I solved the problem?
I don't know. I mean, I guess like my next move would be doing this.
Yes. So what is it that rook is doing on the back rank? What's that check doing for me?
It's forcing you to move your knight. Your king.
Exactly. Where can I move my king?
You can only really move it here.
Yeah, that's my only move. And once I move the king, what happens to my pieces?
I take your rook.
You take my rook. Nicely spotted that rook in the corner. That was your initial idea, but 3 moves later you actually get to do it, and that's because this knight was hanging, and many times this will happen to your opponents too, that they spot your threat, so they could spot that you want to capture the knight, but sometimes by spotting the threat and moving that piece away, they are causing something even worse, because that knight used to be guarding this square. So you couldn't give this check until this knight was here. But once it moves away, things are getting just worse and worse for me.
Oh, darn.
Let's go for that move. Nico. You still need to win the game. I'm not gonna resign. It's not like I am missing half of my pieces. Well, you know what? I can take a pawn. I see a pawn, I take it.
I will also take a pawn.
Okay. Wow, that was quick, and you weren't even second guessing. You were like, I'm confident, I'm taking the pawn. I like it. You don't have to think a long time on every move, because you know the time control for the tournament. It's 10-minute games. 10-minute games with a 5-second increment. I think you have been playing 10-minute games on your account recently too. Yeah. So that's good if you keep practicing 10 plus 5. So 10-minute, 5-second increment per move. But that's not, it's like, it's enough time, but it's not forever. We cannot be thinking too long on every move. So it's good that you sometimes go for quicker moves as well. And I think you noticed that even though I could take the bishop, I'm not winning the bishop, am I?
No, I mean, we're kind of like trading kind of, because I just could take your knight.
Yeah, and trading is good for you, we have said, right? Because you are up now even more than a rook. 2 rooks at this stage. Two
Right.
rooks. Okay, let's see if Nico can give checkmate. I'm curious. I'm gonna move my knight here and hope for the best. Maybe I can grab a rook. Maybe you will leave it hanging. Maybe.
Okay. I feel like you have all these pieces missing, but you still could win somehow. So like,
You think
okay, so
I
I'm
could win
gonna
this game?
yes, I feel like you can win this game. I feel like you can win this game with just one pawn and then one knight, and that's it.
I wish
Like
I
one pawn
had
and one king.
superpowers, but no, your position is so good that you would. I can, if you want me to, I'm gonna make the best possible moves I can find from here, and you will still win. Wanna see it?
Okay. Well, I can guarantee you, I will screw it up, and I'll pick the worst moves. But okay, let's give it a try.
Sure.
Okay. I want to. Okay, so you could do that, and then you could also do that. You can also do that. Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Very good. So you were checking if my knight is attacking anything, and it's only attacking the pawn that's already guarded. So it's good thinking.
Right.
You're not giving me anything. I'm gonna take this pawn before it queens.
Do that.
Oh, my knight is in trouble again. That's very annoying. I'm gonna jump back here.
Do that.
Nicely done. That's a check and a safe square for you. Guarded by the pawn, not attacked by the knight. I'm gonna move here.
That's crazy. Well,
Am I threatening anything?
all right. This.
Okay. So you're attacking my knight. Where can my
Yes.
knight jump? That would be...
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad.
But even though it's bad, it's not too bad. So the thing about chess, most of the time, both players make mistakes. You'll be making mistakes, your opponents will be making mistakes, but you want to be the one that makes less mistakes or smaller mistakes. This is not the end of the world because you're 2 rooks up. So even if I get to capture your rook for a knight, you'll still be up. So don't worry for not making the perfect moves.
I think I'll move my rook here.
Very good. So the moment I take this rook, excellent, you're taking the knight back, and even though you have given me a rook for a knight, it means that now I only have king and pawns. So overall, I haven't won anything. This is just getting worse and worse because pawns and only a king, that gives me even less chance to make a comeback.
I think this is the right move right here.
Nice, because you don't want to be sitting in the corner as you said earlier. Very good job. I'm gonna attack your knight just in case.
I think I'm going to do this.
Oh, so you're giving me your knight because if I take it again, I think this is Nico Chess Instinct Genius coming out, because if I take your knight, what can you do here, Nico?
I could promote to queen.
You take my pawn and I cannot stop your pawn. Did you see this? Did you calculate it?
No.
I'm telling you, your instinct is incredibly good. Like, what? You just, I casually promote the pawn. I've given you a knight, but I promote. Alright? That was a really good move. Because if I don't take the knight, I already am in check, so it's not that I can do much about it. And the moment I take it, queen next move. If I try to stop your pawn, because let's try and see if there's a way I can stop it. What would you do here if you want to keep that passed pawn marching forward? I'm trying to stop it with my king.
I would move my knight here.
Nice. So you're chasing my king away from that blockade, right? I have to move. I have to go somewhere. I'm gonna try to stay under the pawn and hope for the best.
If I go here, then you check here. And you just move this. Ah, this is a little harder. I don't... Ah.
Don't worry. Do you want to allow for... first of all, do you want me to take this pawn? Do you want to allow this? Or do you prefer that I cannot capture your pawn?
Wait, are you asking what's another way I could, like, promote this pawn?
Yeah, we're gonna try to promote that pawn. Can you still try to play for promoting it? And what would be a good way to try?
Maybe... this?
You're going...
I think I'm just going backwards.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just move here for now, right?
Yeah.
It's okay,
Yeah,
because
I'm
you
not
can always
sure.
reconstruct the position by giving a check again. Just don't repeat 3 times. Have you heard of threefold repetition and what it means to repeat the position 3 times?
You draw? Is it like a draw?
Yes. So the only danger by repeating moves is if it happens 3 times the same position, then it's automatically a draw. But 2 times is fine. So you can go back and forth even if you change your mind. Just make sure you don't repeat 3 times. Anything but making it for the 3rd time, just so that it's not a draw. But if we focus on this pawn, how could you make it a queen soon?
Yeah, I actually don't think I know. Maybe if I check here.
Is that a safe move for your knight?
No, because it could get taken by pawn at g7 like that.
So the issue with this knight check is that my king comes back. What if you first prevented that square from my king and then you give the knight check? Can you do it in that order to stop me from coming here? If another piece could take charge of that and not the knight.
Maybe just move my pawn here. Just keep pushing.
Yeah, because what does it change for when you will move the knight there? I'm just gonna make a random move.
I could check you again and then you have to move.
Yeah, can I come back to e7, the square where I was before? I can no longer do it because your rook is guarding your pawn. It's helping that promotion. I'm gonna have to move away and then...
Bam!
Well done, very
Promoted.
good job. Are you sure I'm gonna survive this game against you?
I don't know, Anna. I think you could definitely beat me with 1 pawn and 1 king, and it'd be like, it would happen. Okay.
I wish I could turn the tables in this position, but I believe in you, girl. I think you're gonna checkmate in a few moves. Let's see how. How do you give checkmate with the rook and the queen?
I think I would move my rook here.
So you're cutting my king, right? You don't want me to run away. You're guarding these squares. Very good thinking. I'm gonna push this pawn in case it can turn into a queen someday. Oh no! I was hoping you would give me some chance, Nico.
And then that, like that.
But that was very easy for you. Have you seen this ladder checkmate before? I feel like you must have, because you went for it immediately.
Yeah, I think that's one of the first things that Alex taught me was how to like finish like play endgame, and with when you have like 2 rooks or like a queen and a rook.
Very
or
good.
I think she also taught me if I have like 2 bishops and stuff. So.
Even
yeah.
2 bishops? You know how to give checkmate with 2 bishops?
I forgot. But I think she taught me 2 bishops.
Okay, we're gonna take a look at that later on. But well done, well done giving this checkmate so easily. You went for immediately the cutting of the king, and it's not that obvious unless you know that method. Because if you start giving checks, usually I have a way to try to wiggle my way out of it. So very good that you started with this rook move, making sure that my king is boxed in. I only have that tiny, tiny square for my king. Nicely done. Very good job. we're gonna talk more about openings in the future. I don't want to focus on that in this very first lesson, but it's good that you know so much already when it comes to how to convert a better position, to look for threats, to create threats, but also watch out for the opponent's threats. I think you did a really good job. We're just gonna keep practicing a bit more the visualization part and making sure that your moves are safe and that you notice when the opponent makes a mistake. Do you solve puzzles? I saw in your profile that you have a puzzle rating. Do you solve puzzles regularly, or can I convince you to do so?
No, I actually also the Pogchamps convinced me to like do a lot of puzzles. I haven't done them in a really long time because I think after like I stopped playing chess like really like rigorously every day, I just kind of just played casually.
Yeah.
But I know I have played puzzles before though.
Sure. Can I ask you, as part of the Pogchamps preparations, that when you have some downtime, it doesn't have to be for long, but I think, especially for Pogchamps, it's gonna help you a lot with visualization and spotting which pieces are unprotected, which ones are in danger, if you solve puzzles, because puzzles basically show you winning moments. They are checkmate patterns, they are forks and pins and winning a queen. So the more puzzles you solve, the easier it will be to recognize those patterns in your own games. And it will help you spot those winning moves in Pogchamps as well. And it will help you guard your pieces better, because you will not step into a fork. You will not step into a square where you can be captured with more pieces. So it helps a lot if you solve puzzles. Even if it's just 5-10 minutes a day, it really has such a huge impact on how you recognize those patterns later. So that would be great if you can add that to the list. And we're gonna now flip the board if you still have time.
Okay.
Are you okay going on, or shall we call it a day? You tell me for how long you want to study.
I'm good to go.
Amazing.
Again.
Okay,
Yeah.
So we're gonna flip the board, and now I want to see what you play from Black's perspective, and then we're gonna adjust a few things on the opening setups in future lessons. But for now, I want you to play what you have been playing so far, just to show me what do you do if I push this pawn.
Okay. All right. So I play from Black's perspective, right?
Yes, and you can flip the board if you don't see it from that perspective.
Okay, how would I flip the board?
You should have a wheel, a cog wheel in the...
Yeah.
Have you found it?
Yeah, I found it.
Amazing.
Woo, okay, got it. I would probably do this.
Okay. Is it a setup or opening you learned, or you just want to develop your bishop?
I want to I want the defensive, because if I don't want to push up my e7 pawn to e5, because then they'll like start making my king vulnerable. So I pushed my d7 pawn to d6.
Sure.
That's kind of like what my train of thought is. But yeah, it also helps with developing my bishop. Or my knight, I guess, if I want to develop my knight. I have developed my knight that way. I don't know if it's a bad thing. Like here.
Yeah,
but,
we may need a bit more space later. This is possible to play. I was just curious if you play this regularly, because I think I've also seen you pushing this pawn. Or it depends on the game, which one you go for.
Well, it just depends who's like the person that's going first. So if I'm going first, I like to push that pawn, but if the other person is going first, I like to push like more inner pawns. So
okay, so
preferably like my d7 pawn.
Sure. Then let's stick to this. If you like this, I'm not gonna convince you otherwise. We're gonna think of this setup a little more. I'm gonna push this pawn because I like to have my pawns in the center. How do you respond to this?
Like this.
I see. So that's what you're saying about the knight. Let's adjust a little bit the knight jumps, because I know you want to develop your knight, but if we think again, on which flank do you think you will want to castle?
Oh yeah, king side.
King side. So because you want to castle king side, it's higher priority to speed up the king side development. So we want to get these pieces out faster. Then where would you develop this knight?
I'm not the biggest fan of developing my knight without moving my pawn first, because I feel like it makes my pawn like stuck here. I don't know if that's like a bad thing or not, but
That's why you
is that
play
like a-
f4 with the white pieces, right? Because you want your
Yeah.
knight after. Now I get it. Because I was so surprised to see you play the birds opening. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just very rare to see, especially when someone is still starting out or intermediate level. It's not very common, this pawn push. So your reasoning is that you want your knights behind the pawns, not in front of them.
yes.
Okay, sometimes unfortunately it's difficult to achieve, especially when your opponent makes a move like this. Now with the black pieces pushing this pawn to get the knight out would be too vulnerable for the king. Because whenever you push that pawn, I don't know if you noticed it with the white pieces too, but it does weaken this diagonal.
Right.
So black could try to aim to place the queen there to give a check to your king. With the white pieces, it's not the end of the world, because once you get your knight here, it is guarding that square where I wanted to give a check, right? So you would capture my queen. If I come here, you're gonna take it. It's free stuff, right? I know we are jumping back to white's position. Sorry about the change of topic. I just realized that possibly is the reason then why you could get away with this with the white pieces, because the knight is guarding that square, so your king is safer.
Checkmated that way a lot too.
Or you did checkmate, or you.
No. I've gotten checkmated. Like you
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I've got checkmated that way. I don't really know exactly how they did it, but they would always corner my king, which is why I stopped. Like, I don't know.
See. It's okay. We're gonna go through that setup with the white pieces so that you don't get checkmated. Because you need a backup. You need the knight, and possibly if your opponent tries to trade that knight or chase it away, it's gonna be good if you go for this Fianchetto setup or Fianchetto, so that your king is even more guarded. We're gonna take a look at this in future lessons. I'm gonna make sure you have your setup bulletproof. But with the black pieces, we can't really do the same. Again, because this pawn is already here, it's not really recommendable to push this pawn. So you will have to, in some positions, place your knight in front of the pawn. But don't worry, we're gonna use other pawns. Instead of the f pawn, we're gonna use other pawns of ours to attack later. Is that okay? If we make a deal like this, we use other pawns.
That's fine.
Good, amazing. So you can make this move even though it's in front of the pawn, but it's developing on the side where you want to castle. So we are focusing on that side first and foremost to castle as soon as possible, and this knight jump gets the knight out and attacks the pawn. Now what would happen if white goes aggressive and attacks your knight? What do you think you should do here?
I could just do this.
Excellent, because when I take back, what happens to the position? What has opened up?
The queen, so right here.
How do you feel about that queen trade? And who should take?
I think I should take the queen, because seeing that's my turn, I could take the queen because it forces the king to take my queen, and then he can't castle anymore.
Very good job. So you go and capture the queen. They can no longer castle. Let's see that position for a brief moment. What happens here? King takes. And now, what is the threat of white and how to respond to it?
What is what is white threatening me? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So every time it's your turn, we're gonna think about what is it that the opponent is threatening. What is their idea? What is it that white wants to do here?
He probably. Assuming that my opponent in the future is a he.
Yeah, but, it happens to me all the time too, because mostly it's male opponents. Although I'm so happy that in Pogchamps 3 we have 4 of you ladies, 4 female participants.
Yeah, the more girls the better.
Exactly.
So I think the pawn on e5 is trying to take my knight on f6.
Yeah. So what can we do?
I want to say I want to move it here, and I don't really have a reason. I just know that I don't want my knight to go here or here, because it's pushing them to the side and they don't do well there. I was just told that knights in the center are better.
Exactly. Very good job. This would be a great spot for the knight. So that's one of the good moves. But now, before we make a move, I want you to think of something else as well, and that is we will always look at the opponent's king in case we can get access to it, and unprotected pieces. So let's scan through all the pieces of white, all of them, including the pawns, and you're gonna highlight everything that has no protection, even if they are hidden, but just everything that's unguarded.
This. And
Is the bishop next to the king unguarded?
oh yeah, it is guarded. I guess this
That one?
and this.
Yeah. Anything else?
And
Scan through all of their pieces.
This.
Very good. Even the ones that are hidden. Sometimes the ones that are hidden are somehow in the end becoming a target too. What are the hidden ones?
This and this.
Very good job. They are very hidden, the rook's in the corner, but they are unprotected from the beginning of the game. So it's crazy that we start the game with many unprotected pieces, especially the rooks. But right now, if you take a look at all these red squares, is there a knight jump that would be attacking at least two of these? Because if you could attack two of these at the same time, very unlikely that white can do a good job defending both.
I want to say if this right here, maybe.
Yes, because the knight jump to g4. First of all, we need to check, of course, if it's a safe move. Can your piece be captured on that square?
No.
Very good job.
Yeah, it would check the king and also let me take a rook.
Excellent. So you're jumping here with the knight, and you're already attacking this pawn, and as you said, if you take here, that's more than just the pawn, the king and
Right.
the rook in a fork. So I could, for instance, go tunnel vision in this position and say, oh, my pawn is hanging, I'm gonna defend it. Or sometimes, so for instance, this bishop move, that would fall into your bigger threat. But
Right.
what also happens sometimes on a beginner level is that even if they notice that both are hanging, I don't know if you have seen this in some of your games, but there are opponents that sometimes fall into the false assumption that if you move the piece, it's no longer hanging. And it's true, the pawn is not hanging, but the square is still there. So
Right.
they are running away with the pawn, but that doesn't solve the root of the problem, which is
My knight attacking the rook and checking the king.
very good. Let's go for it. Excellent. I feel like in both games you're capturing my rooks in the corner. I'm gonna make sure that at least I get the knight. Hopefully I get the knight for it. Oh no. I'm gonna give you a check and hope for the best. Excellent. You're just shielding your king and chasing me away at the same time, so I need to back up. I need to maybe back off here or go somewhere retreating with my bishop.
Can I just do this?
What's the purpose of that move?
I'm just pushing my pawns up, and it's preventing you from coming back.
You don't want me to go back there with the bishop, right?
No.
I see. So this wouldn't be a bad idea if you already have developed your pieces. Again, remember that we only get one turn each. So every time it's your turn, it's your time unit to use, and you want to make sure you use that time as efficiently as we can. So even if we have traded the queens, you still have most of your pieces on the back rank. So
Right.
we're gonna prioritize developing the pieces and also still focusing on the king, because even though their king cannot castle, we possibly could still want to castle. Wouldn't we want to castle if we could?
Yes.
Amazing.
Kingside. preferably.
Yes. So let's try to get those pieces out first before you go for these pawn pushes, because the pawn push itself, it makes sense, and that you want to later expand on the queen side and attack with the pawns. That's all good thinking, but we need to make sure that our pieces are no longer standing on the back rank before we go for a direct encounter.
Okay. Well, I have 2 ideas. I don't know if I want to do this, or if I want to do this, or if I want to do this.
Sure.
Because this develops my my knight, but this stops the pawn from moving forward and opens up the board a little bit for me to move my bishop. Or if I want to move this and attack the pawn. So I don't know which one of those would be like the better option for me.
Yeah, this is a bit tricky, because you're right that this pawn push would open up the diagonal for this bishop, but at the same time, what does it do to the rest of your pieces, this pawn push?
It opens up like my king more, maybe?
Yes, a little bit. Anything else around the other pieces? So it opens up this bishop. How does it affect the rest of your pieces? And now, not talking about the king, but any other piece.
I actually don't know.
Don't worry, because it's not that obvious, but the only downside of this pawn push is that it's gonna make it more difficult for the other bishop to be free. It kind of jails it. There is a square for the bishop, but that's kind of the square that you wanted for your knight. So now you have 2 pieces wanting to hang out on the same location, and you can only have one of them there. It's not too bad, but these are things we need to consider when we move our pawns, that this one opens this bishop, but the other one gets a bit sad. It's more passive now. So what could be a way in which you could have both bishop diagonals open, or maybe get this bishop out first, then push, or find a different way to develop this? Where else could this go?
If I move this pawn?
Yeah, because that would allow your bishop to get out while also not shutting down the diagonal of the other bishop. Very good. Nicely done.
I never thought of it that way. Okay.
It's alright, we are here to learn, and there's still so much time to Pogchamps, so we're gonna get even better. Nicely done, nicely done. So now you have both diagonals open for your bishops. I'm gonna jump out with the knight, because I also heard that I need to develop.
That.
Excellent. I'm gonna approach your knight, because I feel like I should at least take the knight. Can that knight get out of the corner?
Can he get out of the corner? Yes, but it looks like it's kind of stuck there. I mean, that's what it seems like, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. That's something that's not so easy to solve, especially now. Maybe under different circumstances we could have tried to save it, but I want you to focus on the rest of your development. And even if you see that this knight will be taken, it still takes me 2 more moves to capture it, and while I'm crawling to the corner with my king, I'm clearly not doing anything else with my pieces, so it's gonna take me time to capture it.
Okay. I would probably castle.
Very good. So I'm gonna continue going for that knight.
Maybe I can do this.
You want to bring the rook to the open 5. Very good thinking. Nicely done. I'm gonna take that knight because after all, that was my mission. Now, in this moment, again, let's take a look at the factors we mentioned. First and foremost, the king of the opponent. And then we're gonna scan the board for unprotected pieces. And I would like you to mark them again. How is my king doing? How's the white king doing?
bad.
Yeah, pretty bad, right?
Because he's in the corner, stuck in the corner.
Stuck in the corner, not looking good. How about the rest of the white pieces? Can you mark the ones that are unprotected?
This one?
Is that unprotected?
This one? I mean, it is protected by.
Yeah, but there's some tension you are saying because it's attacked by one piece, guarded by another.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if I could find any pieces that are fully unprotected. They all seem pretty, aside from our.
The rook is
rook here.
unprotected. Very good. Anything else? Try to find one more.
Maybe this one?
Yeah, that bishop too is unprotected. It doesn't look like we can get to them, but it's good to have it in mind because maybe you will find a way to gain access to them somehow. It could give you a clue, especially when you connect it to how the king is doing. The king in the corner, stuck in the corner as you said, and the rest of the pieces, especially if only we could. Can you see a pattern between some of the unprotected pieces and the king? Could you imagine a piece of yours taking advantage, exploiting how those pieces are standing? It's not something that you can do right now, but I'm curious if you can find the pattern.
Well, I feel like I could corner. I feel like obviously I could corner the king somehow. I don't know. I feel like I could use my knight somehow.
Mm-hmm. You would want to use your knight. Any other piece that you could use in the future? So again, it's not a legal move right now, but try to think outside the box. And if your pieces could fly, I'd like you to lift up one of your pieces and tell me where you would want it to land on any free square in the opponent's camp. We're gonna try to picture this.
Maybe this.
You would want to take my rook with your bishop. That makes sense. That makes sense. But what if you can only choose a square that's empty? So I'm not allowing you to take anything magically, but I would allow you to move a piece of yours to an empty square. What empty square would you want to go to if your pieces could fly?
Okay, to an empty square.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. To try to exploit how my king is and how some of those unprotected pieces are.
This is a little hard.
You can do it, Nico. You can do it. Focus on my king. How can you attack my king?
I ideally would want to put my rook here.
Okay, the lady that says this is a little difficult, a second later she's telling me the solution. All right. Well done. All right, Nico. So how can we get the rook there? What's in the way?
Is one bishop. I think I can move this here, or maybe attack the bishop to move it, or for it to like attack me.
Amazing job. Let's do it. So you want my bishop to be out of the way, and your bishop move, let's just double check if it's a safe move for you. Can you place the bishop on that square? Is that a good move for you?
I think so. I mean, it's not being attacked by anything but the bishop, which is the piece we want to move.
Yeah. And on top of it, you are guarding it with your own pawn in case. But
right.
First and foremost, you wanted me to get out of the way, because when I take this bishop, what will you do?
Check the
Check.
king.
Oh, what can I do here, Nico?
You can only move your knight here, but I could just take the knight, right?
Yeah, if I move my knight here, that's the end of the story, isn't it?
I think so.
It is. Checkmate. Nicely done. So I only have one other option. Nico, you did it. But you need to tell me one more move so that I can survive for a little longer. What other move can I have here? My only other option.
Move your knight here?
Yeah. It's still very sad, of course. Look at my pieces. What am I doing? What am I doing, Nico?
Well, I could pretty much take all of... I could take your bishop, and I could take your bishop. I could take your pawn, I could take your other pawn. Oh, I can't take this pawn actually because it's. I could take this pawn. I could take this piece and then take this piece. Right?
Yeah. Yes. So which?
I could still take.
Yeah. Which order you want to take? Which bishop first? You need to pick one of the two.
Probably this one.
Why do you prefer that one?
Because I don't want to stop. Actually, I don't know why I picked that one.
Don't worry. Both of them look really good. It's not like one is bad and the other is good. I'm just curious if you can spot another pattern, because today is a day where we are being Sherlock Holmes, hunting down chess patterns on the board. So one pattern, of course, this bishop is hanging, right?
Right.
So if you take this bishop, it means that the other one is still in the air. How can I deal with it? How can I defend this, or will I move it? What do you think I should do here?
I mean, you could move it here because it's defended by your knight. I think that would be the smartest move, I think.
Yeah, then let's try that one. If you prefer that bishop, or you can choose this position too, whichever you prefer. What's your chess instinct telling you?
Wait, what do you mean? What is my chess?
Yeah. For which bishop do you prefer? Because they are similar.
Okay.
One could be better than the other, but I don't want to emphasize that much the difference, unless you can spot it. Can you see if we choose this one? Let's just look at this a little bit more, and then you can compare. So in this case, I would go back with the bishop so that you cannot take it. How about the rest of the white pieces? What is going on the back rank? Can I move later this knight, or can I move this knight out of the back rank?
You can't move this one because I'm right here. I mean, you can move this one if you wanted to, but then I'll take your rook.
Yeah, so even though it's legal, it's not very recommendable for me, is it?
Right.
Amazing. Now, how does it compare to the other one? If we take this bishop, is this similar, or can the white pieces move somewhat freer? What could white do here?
I think the white can move a lot freer. I'm not attacking as many pieces, or I can't make more attacks, I guess. I can't make as many attacks as I would taking the bishop on c1.
Yeah, very good that you realize the difference, because even though this position is winning too, the other is easier because more things were hanging, right? And more things were pinned, because now maybe white could try to move this knight so that the rook is guarding the bishop, and it's still tangled up, but they could try to find a way to somehow get that bishop out and defend the rook. Again, it's bad. This is a bad position for white. So we are choosing between two bad options, meaning that both options were good for you, but this is even better for what you said. This is pinned, this is pinned, this is hanging. So it's an absolute disaster, my position again. Your turn, Nico. What's next? If my position is such a disaster, what can you do about it? Amazing. Why are you making that move?
To attack this piece.
Very good. That's my only active piece, and you want to capture it.
Okay. I was nervous for a second.
What have I done to you?
I'm sorry, Anna.
It's all right. Go for it. Go for it. That's the best move indeed. You're going for my bishop too, the only piece that is doing a decent job in my position. I cannot move my knight, so I want to move the knight, and well, it's as much as it's a legal move, if I notice that my rook is hanging, I should not move it. The problem for me, that even if I realize this, how can I find a way? Is there a plan for white, you think, that would allow that I can finally move that knight without losing the rook? So I would need to protect the rook before moving the knight. Or I would need to move the rook away from the back rank, but then I'm losing the knight, right?
Yes.
It's a very bad situation. That's what it means. Well, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to give some room to the rook in case in the future I can get out.
Okay. And then I am still attacking your bishop and the pawn.
Yeah, just in case, because I'm busy trying to get these pieces out of there, but I don't really see how. Because now if I move my rook, what happens if I move the rook away?
I could just take the knight because there's nothing protecting it.
Yeah, I was hoping I will have time to push this pawn, because that would guard my knight, and then I could move the rook. But is this actually a good move for me?
Well, moving your, I mean, it looks like a good move because I can't take your knight because it's protected by your bishop.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, are we on my turn before you moved this piece?
I'm curious, if I were to move this, what would you do? Do you agree that my plan is brilliant and I'm getting my rook out finally?
No, I can move my knight there. I think that was
Yeah.
the better move, I think.
Well done. Yeah, that's the refutation of my whole idea. So I cannot move my pawn, I cannot move my rook. I'm gonna attack your knight and see if at least I can scare you a little bit.
I still think this might be a good trade.
Yeah, why do you think it's a good trade?
Because I don't want to move my rook from this good position. I believe it's a good position. I could be wrong, but
It's
I don't
a
want to
very
move
good
it.
one. No, it's a brilliant one. Have you ever heard of rooks on the 2nd or 7th rank, and also in that sense rook on the back rank? Have you ever heard
No.
of those terms?
Mm-mm.
So now your rook is doing a very good job on the back rank, but oftentimes too, even if I'm just gonna modify the position a little bit, so ignore me. This is, oh, how will I modify it without ruining it fully? Goodness me, it's such a bad position that it's difficult to change it to something decent. We're gonna have to pretend that that was the best sequence. But in any case, normally your opponent will have 1 or 2 rooks or the queen on the back rank, so that usually is guarded. Not in this game, because in this game you got your rook to the back rank and you're pinning everything and I'm crushed. But even
Right.
if you can't get your rook to the back rank, getting it to the 2nd or 7th rank, depending if you're playing with the back pieces, then 2nd rank from white's perspective is the 7th rank. It's still very powerful because it's the 2nd best after the back rank. Let's think of it that way. So it's very close to the king. It's cutting the king in that way. It's attacking most. Usually there will be pawns on the 2nd rank, and also restricting my pieces. So my pieces cannot come here. It cannot come here. It's restricting my rook as well. So it's good for restricting a lot of my mobility for my own pieces. It's good for attacking the king, especially if you could bring a 2nd rook to the back rank. So if you double down, anything that's doubling down is great. It means that if you could, let's say I'm just gonna make a move, another random move. If you could reach a position where both of your rooks are coming here, that would be like the superpower. This is just for illustration that 1 rook on the 2nd is great, 2 rooks on the 2nd even better, because you are threatening to take everything on the 2nd rank. Like one by
Right.
one you're gonna capture my pieces and my king, because I'm about to get checkmated. If you get to take that pawn, I'm about to be checkmated even if there's no pawn here any longer, but you're threatening to move the rook there, and that would be checkmate.
Wait, just as I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm wrong, but if you move to if you move the rook on g2 to h2, would that be a stalemate?
Is it a stalemate or a checkmate?
I'm not sure. I don't even really know what a stalemate is. Like, I know I get them a lot, but I don't know what exactly they are.
Sure. So, a stalemate and a checkmate, very important, the difference. We're going to come back to this position, but I feel like we need to talk about the other one. If I can get rid of these pieces. Sorry, this is going to be super confusing because I've gone back to the other, but this is closer to stalemate, if anything. I'm going to ignore what I'm doing. And this position, so if you have this is from our first game, and it's gonna be confusing that we are jumping back and forth, but I want to make sure you understand the difference between checkmate and stalemate. So in the game you gave okay, this is not sorry, it's black to move here in this position, so it would be this, but you have gone for this ladder checkmate, that one piece is cutting my king and the other is giving checkmate. But sometimes the opponent doesn't find the strongest move immediately, and they would, let's say the queen is okay, I just need to modify this. Please ignore the moves because they were bad moves. But sometimes you reach positions where you are aiming for the checkmate, but you don't exactly know where is the mate, so you end up making a few moves that are not the most systematic way of approaching how to give checkmate, and you could have a position like this. Like this was not the best example, and I didn't play the best moves, but this position would be the one you see right now on the board. Is that it's black to move. What can black do?
Can't really move anywhere.
Can't move anywhere, right? So the king cannot go anywhere, and this pawn cannot go anywhere, and the king is not in check. So if in this position the king was in check and then it cannot move, that's checkmate. But
Okay.
if black cannot move and it's their turn to move but they are not in check, that means that it's a draw, because the game has to end. They have no legal moves, but they are also not in check. So that's why you should play out your games until the very end, because if your opponent is not accurate with the execution of the checkmate, they could fall into this easily. There were so many stalemates in Pogchamps 1 and Pogchamps 2 all the time. There were so many stalemates, and there will be for sure in this one too, because it's easy to go wrong if you don't realize that, oh, the king has nowhere to go, but it's not in check. So if it's black to move, it's a draw. If white doesn't keep making the best moves and check, or if you don't give check, like the way you did in our game, I still had pawns. So if I have any other piece, it's not just the king. It has to be that I have no piece that can move. Maybe I have another pawn. Maybe I have a knight. Maybe I have a bishop. Any piece that can move, it will mean that I should move, of course. That's why this pawn has to be blocked. Or if I had more pawns, they would all need to be blocked. Because as long as I can move something, it's not a stalemate. But your way of giving checkmate is the perfect one, because even if I only have a king, it's never a stalemate because you are cutting my king on the 7th. This is kind of like the rook on the 7th, but you have your queen on the 7th, cutting my king. And that means that my king is restricted, but not fully restricted. I have left and right always. I can move back and forth, right? So this is the right way to aim for checkmate, because you're restricting me. You want to pin me to the edge of the board, but you don't want to take away all the squares from me, because then it's gonna be stalemate.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense, because I was so lost on what a stalemate. Because I was thinking sometimes I would be playing games and I was like, oh, I'm going to win. I have checkmate. And then next thing you know, it was like a stalemate because they couldn't move anywhere. And I really couldn't fully understand why.
Yeah.
So that makes so much sense.
It makes sense. If you haven't heard the difference between the two, then it must be very confusing why one is this, or because they are so similar in a sense that I don't have a move. And that's what you want when it's checkmate, right? But you want me to not have a move when it's a check. Like, I don't have a legal move because I lost the game. It's checkmate. So in that sense, it's very similar. I don't have a legal move, but I also am not in check. So I get half a point for my fighting spirit.
Okay. I think I understand.
Amazing, amazing. Let's go back to our game, and I'm gonna stop jumping because this must be very confusing, but I wanted to make sure this is clear. So your rook on the back rank is doing amazing, but rook on the second would also do amazing. You took this bishop because you want to pin everything. Instead of that, I now move the bishop. You took that bishop, moves later, even if I don't blunder it. I'm just gonna replay these moves because it's I know difficult when I jump here and there, but you don't want to move the rook to the second if you're already on the back rank. I was just saying that's like the second best. So if you have it on the back rank, amazing. If you can't have it on the back rank, rook on the second rank, as in this example, when the rook is guarding the back rank, you just want to move your rooks to the second or seventh rank, because then you can try taking these pawns and giving checkmate and restricting my pieces. It has a lot of purposes. But in the game, I don't even have this. I have no mobility because your rook is just standing there pinning everything. It's a terrible position for me. It's absolutely disastrous. So it's your turn to make a move here, Nico.
Okay. Okay. I would move my here.
Very good job. What are you doing with that rook?
I want to take this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I want to go here and take that.
All right, so you already have your eyes on my knight as well. The pawn is not enough. I see. I see what you're doing.
I want it all.
I see. The problem is, even if you tell me your plan, I cannot really prevent it. Because again, if I move my rook, you take my knight immediately, and I can't move the knight still because then it's hanging. So this was such a good idea that you ended up taking that bishop, because it's pinning my knight forever. I don't have a way out of it. I'm gonna try to get out of this pin. I feel like maybe if I get my king out, that will help a little bit.
Okay. I think I'll still move my rook here, because even if you move here and you really can't get out because I'm right here with my rook.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very good.
I think I still have an advantage.
Oh, I think you have more than an advantage. I feel like after I'm gonna step out of this pin, but I don't think I'm gonna survive your attack. What's your next move?
I think I want to move my rook here.
Oh, and you were showing me earlier a different square, but now you're changing your mind. Why this square?
So I could defend, the rooks could defend each other, and I could just take here and also take that.
Yeah.
And if for some reason you want to take my rook, I just take with this rook.
Very good thinking. Yeah, it's even stronger than the other move. Not that this is winning the knight too, but now you're threatening both knights and they are protecting each other. Very important that you mentioned. This is way too powerful. Again, rooks doubled on the back rank or on the second rank, you're crushing it. Oh goodness me. I'm gonna move this knight because the other knight is still pinned. Oh, my knight. I don't know what to do about this, but at least now I can move my rook. I guess, in a way, if I trade though, so if I take your rook, will you be happy about that trade?
I wouldn't be upset about it, because I still have, like, I mean, all you would have is pawns left in one knight, and I would still have a rook and a bishop. And quite a few pawns. So I don't think I'd be terribly upset about it.
I see. I'm afraid I either have to take or these two rooks will be very powerful, so I'm gonna eventually go for it, but I'm not really satisfied about how my position is looking at the moment. I've seen better positions for white, but I'm gonna go for tricks. I'm gonna go for whatever I can. Oh, it hasn't worked out well, has it? Push this one. Oh no! Nico is on full on cashing in on everything that's hanging. Nicely done. Good. I'm gonna jump here and hope for the best.
Okay. Maybe this.
Amazing job. You are just collecting every single pawn of mine one by one. I'm gonna push here in case I can get a passed pawn, although I don't know how. Very good job. I'm gonna move my king out because I heard that the king is an important piece in the endgame.
I think I might.
Very good job. What are you doing with that pawn?
I'm pushing it to promote it, hopefully.
Good thinking. I'm gonna try to stop it. I'm gonna try to use my king to stop it. Oh, you're not letting me get closer. You're giving me a check. So I'm gonna have to choose between this and this square. I'm gonna go here in case I can go somehow under your pawn. Good job. And thank you so much to Nemo for raiding us. Those of you just joining, I'm here with my brilliant student, Nico. Nemo was also playing in the Among Us Ladies session that we had a few months ago, but now Nico is a Pogchamps participant. So please do go and check her out on her channel. We are streaming on both channels. You can see Nico's camera on her channel. I'm here on my channel, and we are practicing for Pogchamps. I'm a rook down, so I'm struggling. I'm struggling real hard here. Oh, no.
Hi, Nepsico! Thanks for raiding Anna Chess.
And she has just been playing League. I'm seeing in the Mubot comment that Nemo was playing League just now. I know she's really good.
I love League.
Oh, me too. And I'm so bad at it. I've only just started playing it, and I'm like terribly bad because I don't know anything. But I really like the game.
Yeah, if you ever want to play some League and chess, you let me know. We could play some League.
Oh, that would be great. Please, yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, do you have a favorite champion, or who do you play normally in League?
I play Neeko.
Makes sense. That was a stupid question
Neeko.
from me. It's like,
It's okay. No,
Neeko.
it's completely fine. Yeah, I play Neeko. I play Heim. I play Neeko, Heim, Misfortune, Sona. Those are my mains. I think I like those. I like support a lot.
I also play as support because I'm useless in any case as support or anything, because I'm so new still that I mean I guess I can't say any longer that I'm that new. I started learning a few months ago, but I just play very rarely, so I try to learn, but I'm like a total noob. You'll need to teach me.
Listen, I'll teach you some League. You can teach me some chess. I'm a total noob at chess, so it'll be fine. We could do a trade-off.
I like it. I like the deal. Although I think your chess skills are certainly better than my League skills. But I mean, if you are accepting a hopeless case student too.
Oh my God, Anna! I'm pretty sure you're completely fine. Okay, let's see.
Let's see what plan you come up with. Oh, you're giving up your rook for my knight. Why are you trading it off?
Because I really don't think I need it. There's just so many pieces that I already took that I don't find too much reason for it.
I thought that was a really good practical decision. You don't have to give it up, but you can, because by trading off my last tricky piece, so now I'm left with only a king and pawns, and on top of it you're capturing this pawn immediately. So you have a bishop and how many pawns? 5? Bishop and 5 pawns. This is gonna be a rough one. So I'm curious how you're gonna promote those pawns, because I think you gave up the rook so that you can now promote your passed pawns faster, because I only have the king to try to stop them. You're pushing that pawn. Okay, I'm gonna move the king because I don't have too many options. Ah, now you're pushing it to a5. I was curious why you're pushing it to a6. I think you're just teasing me. You're like, nah, I'm not winning just yet. I'm gonna give you a bit more time.
But no, I have full practical reasons why I'm pushing it. I just feel like I could push my pawn up because my bishop is protecting this right here. So
yeah, that is another reason why this trade-off was really powerful, because the bishop that you're left with is literally guarding the promotion square. So if I move anything careless here with the king, even this move, what would be your next move? I'm gonna have to take this back, but I want to make sure that you tell me the best move here. Yeah, and because of your bishop. Because of your bishop, I can't even stop you. I cannot approach the pawn. This is guarded by the pawn, the other is guarded by the bishop. So this is literally game over. You have a queen. My only chance to stop it for now is to place the king here. How would you proceed if I place the king there?
I was gonna just keep pushing the other pawn that was right next to it.
Very good thinking. Now, unfortunately for me, I can't really move to the corner. I'm gonna try to move here in case I can block those pawns for now.
No, I'll just push this pawn.
Okay. I'm gonna step in here in between and see if I can block everything. Have I achieved a full blockade here?
I don't think so. I mean, you're gonna have to either take something or move somewhere. I think I'm just pushing too many pawns for you to stop.
Wait a second. You're giving me this pawn for free?
Yes.
Because you want me to take it?
Yes.
So that then you could...
I can move this here. And even if you can't come here, you just go here. And I would still be able to promote because it's protected by the bishop.
5-head plan. Did you see all this? I was so hoping I can scare you that everything is blocked. And then you just go, oh, C2 after 2 seconds of thinking. Nico, you're 5-head.
Oh, thank you.
Well done. Look at this.
You make me feel really confident.
Well,
you're a really good teacher.
Thank you, but you're a very good student. Look at this move. I cannot stop. I either cannot stop your C pawn or I cannot stop the A pawn. I cannot stop both at the same time. I'm gonna take this and then hope for a stalemate, because now I know that maybe if I get rid of all my pieces, and by that I mean I'm gonna try to get rid of all my pawns too. Will you take my pawn, or what would be your thinking here? Oh, you just don't care.
I would promote. Yeah, I just promote.
Okay. I see. Okay, I'm gonna take your bishop.
Was that not a good move? Or
no, it was like
okay.
you could promote, or you could move the bishop on this diagonal. I was just testing you if you were gonna take the pawn, because then at least I could crawl back with my king so that I stop your pawn. It's still winning, of course, but you either should promote immediately as you did, or you should move the bishop anywhere on this diagonal so that I can still not approach the pawn. These were the two best moves. So very good thinking. Very good thinking. And you don't need the bishop. You're just killing it with the queen. Has so many pawns. Like, you can have a second queen literally if you want to.
And then I think with this I would just like take everything else.
Very good. We're just gonna be careful about stalemate, so that's gonna be my only hope. And for that reason, I'm gonna move my king here, just in case.
Okay.
Oh, I think this is gonna get very tough for me, but let's get rid of that pawn. Oh, you don't even want my pawn. Okay, I'm gonna take this one. Okay, so now I only have a king left, and my only chance is a stalemate. Let's see. Maybe if that pawn is on the board, I have a better stalemate chance. I don't even know. This is gonna be rough. Here. Okay, so you promoted, and I think you realize that I can still go back and forth between these two squares.
Yes.
So I'm gonna have to come here and hope for a stalemate. Let's see if Nico will give me checkmate or stalemate. Check is good because if I'm in check, there's no stalemate for sure. I'm gonna take this pawn.
Oh wait, that was a mistake. That was a misclick.
Was it? You can take it back. It's not a bad move, but if it was a misclick,
Okay.
go ahead and play the move you prefer. Oh, I see what you're doing. So this queen is cutting my king and the other is giving a check. Oh. Oh no! Nico with the pattern, no! Nicely done! Well done, lady! Look at you! Second time you're giving me another checkmate in one session. With both colors you have gone for the same checkmate. Nicely done!
Yay! Thank you. That's my favorite. That's my favorite checkmate. I think is just like suffocating their king.
Yeah, and it's so also very stalemate safe because as we discussed, you're restricting my king, but you're not taking everything away on the back rank. I usually have 1 or 2 squares on the back rank before the checkmate comes. So even if it was my turn to move here, like let's say it's my turn, not that you move the pawn, but just for the sake of the stalemate example, even if I had to make a move, I could still make a move, and then if it was my turn again for some whatever reason, I could still make a move because you are cutting my king, so you're pinning it to the edge of the board. You're not letting me escape, but you also give me enough room so that there's no stalemate ever. Well done.
Okay,
Very good job.
before we end, can we actually play an actual chess game? I just want to see you unleash your power on me. I want to just see you destroy me, please. I just want to know how it feels like.
Sure, but what if I cannot beat you, or what if it takes me forever? Maybe 100 moves.
Well, we'll play like a 10-minute one, and then I feel like it's a learning experience.
Sure. Let me challenge you then.
Okay.
Do you prefer a particular color? You can start with the white pieces if you prefer playing with the white pieces.
I think I'll play with the white pieces just because I like going first, and I feel like I have a very microscopic advantage to going first.
Sure. I'm gonna make the time control the same as Pogchamps, so it's 10 minutes with a 5-second increment.
Okay.
Let me know if you see the challenge. Hopefully it go. Oh wait, did I challenge the
Oh my
wrong
god,
way?
I'm so nervous.
Oh no, wait, no, I'm so sorry. It's still showing 3 minutes. No. Why did it not set the time? Let me wait a second. Sorry about that. I thought I set it, but then it didn't save it. How do I save it? I'm booming here. Shoot. I literally have a boomer account on my channel because I am just not an IT person. Anything that's possible to mess up, I do. I click here, I click there.
No, I feel you.
Nico. Okay, I found you here. Oh, time. Custom. Maybe I didn't save it. Custom time control. 10 minutes. Oh, there's an OK button next to the time control. I didn't hit it. I think that's the issue. I got it. Oh no, I think it's shoot. I think that the color may be the wrong one. But if not, I'm gonna abort and. Oh, okay, good.
It's a white one. Yeah.
Good. We're good to go. Good luck,
Okay,
lady.
woo!
Good luck.
All right. Good luck, Anna. All right. Okay, I'm so nervous. I'm gonna start off with my opening, my bird's opening.
Sure, and we're gonna take a look at your openings in future lessons. I just didn't want to do everything all at once because we're gonna do everything, but step by step. We cannot change everything right at the start. But for now, it's good that you're developing the knight, so you do know the basics here. Even if this opening is not the most traditional, you're going for development, and that's important.
Okay. I'm nervous.
Don't be.
Okay, if I move this here, then we do.
Very good. You're aiming for the Fianchetto setup to get the bishop here and then castle. I see what you're doing. Nicely
Yes, I'm trying
done.
to apply what I learned today.
Really good. And I didn't know if you would go for it immediately or later, but I think this is the best order, that you're aiming for it immediately. Very good. I'm gonna develop my pieces too. I'm being told that you're drawing arrows on your side. Very good if you're thinking that way, if it helps.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna look those. I'm not gonna be reading
Okay,
them.
no,
I
it's
just
okay.
see it in the chat. My viewers are discussing that you're doing a good job drawing your plan. Amazing. I'm gonna copy you. I'm gonna Fianchetto my bishop too. See, so far everything is very normal. I haven't won anything. I'm not ahead in anything. It's just a normal position. As long as you make good moves, I cannot just crush you just because I have played chess for longer. That's not how it works. If you keep making good moves, I cannot punish you.
Yes. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time till all my bad moves accumulate.
I'm gonna try to be tricky and do this move. Just always watch out for my threats.
Oh.
Very good. That was the only move to save the rook without losing anything else. That or the other pawn push, but this pawn push is better. Nicely done. I was hoping you wouldn't play it, but you did. You played it. Okay, I'm gonna continue. Okay, that bishop, luckily for me, has abandoned something that I was looking at, but earlier I couldn't really go there with my knight because your bishop was guarding it, but now that you developed it, I can jump here.
Oh, no. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna forcefully move my queen here.
Sure, it's not the end of the world because I do take a rook, but you are capturing my knight for it, so it's what we call an exchange up because it's 5 points. Do you know the value of the pieces in points?
Not in points. I just know that the rooks, the queen is the most valuable, then the rook.
Sure.
The knights and bishops are the same, and the pawns are the least.
Yeah, then basically you know it. It's just that maybe you didn't learn it with a point system. We sometimes count it as points because it can help you when it's like a more complex trade. Let's say you take a rook for a knight and 2 pawns, then which one is worth more? Or if it's 2 bishops for a queen, so when it's a more complex trade, then it can help if you know that we would normally consider the pawn 1 point. So that's like the base. Then the knight and the bishop are the same as you said. We would consider it 3 points. The rook is 5 and the queen is 9. So approximately 2 rooks are about the same value as the queen. Approximately, depends on the position. And 2 minor pieces would be about the same value as a rook and a pawn. But these are just so that it's easier to deal with the trades and compare who is doing better.
I think I'm gonna. Okay, so
Oh, and I should talk next time in my turn so that I'm not wasting your time. Sorry.
Oh no! Don't worry. Okay, I think I'm going to.
That's a good trade because you couldn't move the knight away as long as my pawn was threatening your pawn. So good thinking there. I'm gonna take back with the pawn.
Okay, I'm going to do. This is hard. Okay,
Very good. You are developing your pieces. Nicely done. Yes. Oh, and by the way, the points, now that it's my turn, I can tell you without wasting your time that, do you see next to our names or below the names, there are these pieces that we have captured?
Yes.
And there's a +2 for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's because I have captured the rook, which is 5 points, and the knight is 3, so it's telling me that I'm +2 in advantage.
Okay. Up to material.
Yes. Yeah. And if it was like you're up a pawn, then it would say +1, because a pawn is only 1.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna have to copy you and develop my pieces too, so let's see, where do I want this bishop? I'm gonna go here, but the position so far is very close. It's not that easy.
I think I'm going to do this.
Are you trying to attack me, Nico?
Maybe.
I see. Okay, I see where you're going. I'm gonna keep developing my pieces and try not to be too worried. Very aggressive. I like it. I like that it doesn't let you down, that I have captured the rook, but you keep making attacking, aggressive moves that can create threats. Very good thinking.
Okay. I'm just trying to get back my material, Anne. I'm just trying to get back my material. I'm scared because I know it's just gonna get worse and I'm gonna be crushed, but it's gonna be an honor though, because when do people get to play with an Ultra Super Saiyan Ultra Grandmaster Champion of the world? Okay, not many. So
You're way too kind, and you're definitely not getting crushed. This is better for me, but it's not like I'm winning. I'm gonna have to make loads of moves to win this. You keep attacking, I see. I'm gonna have to take this.
I think that was already a bad move. Okay, I'm gonna move this.
I see, you're bringing your other knight. Then I'm gonna take this. So we are trading those pawns. I'm gonna take it with the bishop, because I like to capture pawns.
Okay.
Oh, you're trying to trade my bishop. I see. Well, I don't really have a choice, because I can't move it this way. Then you're gonna capture my rook. I see what you're doing there. I see you, lady. I'm gonna have to trade.
Okay.
Amazing. I'm gonna move my queen out. I feel like it's time.
Oh no, I feel something just happening right now. I don't know what it is, but I just feel something.
That's always psychological. It's not like every move of mine is that threatening. Like if you look at what the queen is doing, yes, it's looking at your knights, but they're guarded, right? So I can't really do anything at the moment.
Okay.
You're bringing your rook. I see. Well, then I'm gonna have to find a way to bring my rook too. I'm thinking I'm gonna push this pawn for now.
Okay.
It may not have been the best move, and now I'm actually a bit scared, because... Oh, you're playing that move. I was a little bit worried if you start attacking my king. I still had a defense, but I don't like that knight being close to my king. I don't like that. Yeah, I certainly shouldn't have pushed. See, I also make mistakes. I'm regretting now my pawn push. I think it wasn't the best move, and I can't take it back. That's the worst thing about pawn pushes. They cannot go backwards.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's why stacked pawns are very scary to me, because I'm not good at fixing the mistakes I already made. So
yeah, it's not easy. And I'm thinking how to deal with that pawn push, which I didn't really need to push it. I just wanted to bring my rook, but now I'm thinking it wasn't the best way, and I'm giving you additional attacking chances. You're fighting very well, Nico. You're fighting very well.
Okay, awesome.
I think I'm gonna have to go with the flow if I already started playing this way. Although... Oh man, I'm making it so... this was not the best play by me, and now that I realize it, I don't know how to correct it immediately. Unless I offer you a queen trade, because I also like endgames. I do.
Okay. I think I will take your queen trade.
Oh, by the way, I'm being asked if you know about en passant. I'm gonna explain it in my time or ask you in my time. If you go, sorry for the jumping here and there, but on move 22, when you push your pawn to e4, did you know that I can take your pawn?
Let me jump.
On the right side, if you're able to. I'm not gonna make a move in the meantime, so it's gonna be my time running. I'm just curious if you knew that I can take that pawn.
I know what en passant is. I don't really know how to identify it though. Like I don't know when it would be a good to do it or when you can do it. I know what it is, but like I've never really done it.
Sure.
Like in a game.
So what you can observe here is that your pawn, you moved it 2 squares, and that kind of jumped through my capture square. Because if you were to push your pawn 1 square, then you see that there's a clash between the 2 pawns. So it only happens, en passant can only happen when you're trying to jump through my capture square. And then for this one moment, I can take it as if you only had pushed 1 square. But it's only legal right after you made the pawn push. If I would have moved the queen away, which probably, by the way, would have been a better move to move the queen immediately to trade. If I would have moved the queen immediately, and then later I try to capture, it no longer is possible. En passant, this funny capture that looks illegal. It looks like it's... Wait, how did the pawn disappear? Like, you cannot move to that square. It looks like it should not be the case. But this is a very special capture, and it can only happen right after that pawn push happened that jumped through my capture. If I don't take it then, but I make another move, and next move I try to take it, I cannot. So it's only in that one moment as a response where you can do it.
Okay, so you can only take my pawn if I already moved it once, right? Like not...
Oh yeah, true. So if you're... It's only possible to play en passant capture if it's jumping 2 squares, you're right. If you are moving 1 by 1, then I cannot.
Oh no, I didn't know that. I thought it was only like if I moved it once. I didn't know it was if I moved it 2 squares. Oh, that's okay. I did not know that. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's just a very confusing rule. But in the game on move 22, you move 2 squares. If you look at your pawn push, I played e5 and then you played e4, and that was from e2 to e4. So you're moving 2 squares, but because of the en passant rule, I can take it as if you only made 1 pawn square push.
Okay.
It's just very confusing, but it's good to know that it exists, because sometimes it can change the position, whether you take the pawn or not. But I'm gonna take the queen. Before I run out of time, I'm gonna capture this queen and play this endgame against you.
Okay. I think I'm gonna do that.
That's a good move. So I clearly haven't played this game the best way, but I'm gonna try to do better in the end game. I'm gonna try to attack this bishop.
I'm going to...
Oh, you're counterattacking my rook. I see. This is getting tricky. Very tricky. I'm gonna take this one.
Okay. I feel like I have to take this one. I don't know. I think obviously I'm gonna lose my my horse, my knight. But...
Yeah, I could take the knight, or I can try to go for a bigger trophy because I spotted that these and these are standing on the same diagonal, so I could win it.
Oh my god, no! This is the beginning of the end, I feel it. Okay. Alright.
We've got what we were looking at during the lesson, rook on the second, right? It's cutting your king, that's why it's really cool.
Yeah.
Even in an endgame, it's very cool to have it there, or even more so in an endgame. Okay, so I've taken your rook. I'm gonna try to chase your knight.
Okay.
Check, I see, and you're about to capture my pawn too. That was tricky. Well, I'm gonna go this way.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep going because I heard that this piece is very important. The king in endgames to be active. You're moving your king toward the center too. I'm gonna go... Which way am I going? I'm gonna go this way. You're coming back with your knight. I'm gonna take this pawn.
This is so bad. I feel like I don't even know how I can fix this. I don't know. I here, I think. I don't...
Yeah, I didn't really see a fix, unfortunately. Because once the king... See, this is a different checkmate to the one that you have given, but it works in a very similar way. Can you see how my king and bishop are doing a very similar job to what your queen or rook is doing in the ladder checkmate? So I just want to make sure that you cannot leave the back rank. I want to take away all squares, and even if you didn't move the knight, if you move in front of my king to d1, then it's the same checkmate. What you could try to do is to try to run the opposite direction toward the left, because then you still have... So instead of the knight move,
okay.
you see... wait, where was it?
Is it 33?
No, after I take on d3 and move 34, the only way you can prevent checkmate here is if you move your king to try to run away from the back rank. So you moved to the left, you moved your knight to f5, and instead of that, the one way you can keep the game going is if you start running with the king. And it feels like you're not running anywhere, but at least if now I give the check on the back rank, your king can go to g2. Do you see that position? Or I can show it on the same analysis board if not.
Okay. I think analysis board would be better.
Sure, yeah, because then we can move the same pieces. Give me a second, I'm gonna save this. But you fought so well. This was a 35 move game. 35 moves. And I was even struggling because I didn't know how to convert immediately.
Stop. I feel like you
real.
were taking it easy on me, if anything.
No, that e5 move was trying to do a good move, and it was a bad move. Like, it wasn't on purpose. It was not on purpose. But you fought so well. No, you fought really well.
Thank you so much. I have a good teacher, so.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna make a new analysis board and then invite you to that so that we can look at this. But you fought very well, honestly. I'm gonna open this here, and again you just need to accept the invite. I keep forgetting. 7147. I definitely hope that chess.com can give you your name fully, so that you don't have to use numbers. I'll
literally ask them right after stream. I'm gonna be like, can I have just Nico, please?
Yeah,
Nico,
please do so. And if not, I lost them too. The more the better. We can both ask. Do you see the board now? And
yeah.
So in the game, I took here, you moved the knight here, and this is how it was checkmate. So my king and bishop, these are the pieces that are making sure that your king cannot leave the back rank. Right? Those pieces are guarding everything on the second rank where your king could run to. So the only way to get out of this checkmate, I'm threatening this right now, right? My king and bishop are taking these away. So even if you move here, it's the same issue. Those are taken, so this is checkmate.
Right.
And then one way in which you can still try to keep the game going, well, the only move here is to move the king here, because even though you cannot leave, but you're ready for this check of the rook, because then you can run. So you need to anticipate that this is gonna be my move. That's how I'm trying to give checkmate, and the only way to get out of it is if your king can somehow wiggle his way out of the back rank. In this case,
I
black.
didn't see that.
Oh, it was already very difficult, and again, the position is really tough to hold, and I don't have to give that check. I could possibly just, for instance, push this pawn and try to create a queen. That would be one of the simpler plans to do for black. So this is already very difficult, but in Pogchamps, even these type of positions you should play on, because your opponents can also make mistakes. There can be mouse slips, so sometimes even unintentional mistakes that you I think it happened to you during the analysis, that you moved the queen to a square you didn't want to. So that can happen to anybody. Mouse slips can happen. Time pressure is always huge as well by the end of the game, so they can lose on time or they can get nervous because of the time pressure. Always play the game until the very end, because there's so many things that can go wrong from both perspectives. So it's worth playing at the games, and now you know that stalemate 2 is there in case you run out of possible moves while you're not in check.
Yeah, I think that's one of the issues that I have. I'm very impatient, so I'm like, just click, 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 click. So that's one thing I have to do, is take it a little bit more easier, I think.
Sure, we can work on that too, to sometimes take a bit longer, maybe just a few seconds longer to evaluate your chances. But you fought very well, and again, I made this move thinking, I'm so big brain, you will give me your rook. But you notice the threat, you notice that even though it's the knight that I moved, I want to capture your rook with the bishop, and this was the only way to get out of it, because any other move, you cannot move the bishop here, you cannot move the knight here. These are all squares where I'm gonna take your piece. And if d4, that's an attempt, but you cannot take back now with the knight, because my bishop and knight are looking at it too. So you played in the best possible way here, just trying to guard your pieces. The only thing you forgot, and this is something we're gonna be practicing, because this is easy to fall into, that your bishop here was preventing this fork. So I could go there, but it's only a trade, right? If you, for instance, if you play this move, I could jump here, attack your queen and rook, but you can take it. So you're not losing your rook.
Right.
But you forgot.
Wait, I had that option. I had that option and I didn't take it.
No, unfortunately, because you moved the bishop away. So, this is something we're gonna be practicing to make sure if your move is safe. So you will always check if your piece can be taken there. But another thing to add is to observe what changes in the position, especially when it comes to what is this bishop guarding? What are some of the squares or pieces? In this case, it doesn't matter that much. It's no longer guarding the pawn because there's a pawn guarding the pawn. But this square is only guarded by the bishop. So these are the squares or pieces that you will need to look at that's only guarded by that one piece. Because again, d2 is guarded by many, right? So it doesn't matter that your bishop is no longer guarding it. The only big deal is this one, because the bishop moves and then this square, the e3 square, is free for me. And this is something we're gonna try to practice in a very systematic way, that you, before you make a move, you check what is it that will change in the position for the better or worse, of course. So you gain this diagonal for your bishop, but you're losing this diagonal. And that's why you should be very careful here. And this is good as an idea, but you need to make sure that I will no longer have this move. So one thing you could do is to question my knight, that if I want to play this move and you will trade it, or if I'm gonna go back and then you can move your bishop. So this is complex, but the more you practice of seeing what changes in the position with your move, how it impacts the rest of the pieces, the easier it will be to spot these type of threats and how to deal with them. But again, you did very well, Nico. This is already more advanced.
Yay! I'm so glad. I was just hoping not to do like at least show some improvement.
You did. You're kidding? Some improvement. You did some big brain ideas. Even the positions that we analyzed earlier, where you went for like this rook capture and everything was hanging, and I asked you like, well, but did you see it? And it was working for you. I don't know if you remember that position where you wanted to go for the rook check on the back rank to capture my rook in the corner. And it wasn't working, but another thing was working, so you ended up making it work for you, and that was brilliant. And many other ideas that you showed during the analysis, you did very well.
Okay, I'm so happy, Anchess. Thank you. Thank you so much for teaching me so much today. I feel like I learned a lot. I know I've been told that like learning chess too much in one day could be overwhelming, but I feel like I learned a good amount. So I'm really happy. I felt like I improved a lot. Big brain, 5 head.
Oh, I'm glad if you feel like that, and you really did so well. Very good job, and I'm here to help you anytime. So you just let me know how's your schedule, and I'm gonna be here coaching the Girl Squad. So I'm gonna make sure I have enough time for each and every one of you, because that's my priority. Like until Pogchamps and during Pogchamps, I'm gonna adjust my schedule to the schedule of you guys, because I need to make sure I can help you as much as possible. So that's my utmost priority. Always message me if you want to learn more, if I can help you with anything. And the homework is puzzles. If you could do puzzles regularly, that will help a lot with these knight forks, checkmate patterns, for tactical vision. We call it tactical vision when you spot these winning ideas, winning moves.
We'll do more puzzles. That sounds great. I'm looking forward to our next chess lesson then.
Amazing, amazing. Keep me posted and we'll schedule it for whenever it suits you. Will you keep streaming now?
I think I might stream just a little bit, like a little tiny bit, but I might just have to get off in like maybe like 30 minutes.
Sure, but in any case, if you stay on a little longer, I think that means that my community and I could go over to your place if you welcome us.
Oh my god, that's so nice of you. Of course I'd like to have more chess viewers. Yeah, I was thinking of making myself some tea right now and eat like a little pastry while I like practice my chess puzzles.
Sure.
And like play a game, and then like I'll get off and then go eat. But that sounds perfect.
Like a really good plan. If you want to go and grab a tea, I can also just wrap up in the meantime. You let me know, but I'm gonna definitely go over. If you want me to go over right now or in a few minutes, we're gonna be
completely up to you, Anna. I already appreciate the host as it is, so
sure.
Thank you so much.
Sure. I'm gonna wrap up on my channel then in a few minutes I wanna go over to your place to hang out a little bit over at Nico's place, solving puzzles, playing games. It sounds like a very chill stream that I want to join. See you very soon, Nico. See you very soon. You did so well. 5 head.
Thank you.
5 head, Nico.
You have an amazing teacher.
Thank
you so much.
Talk to you very soon again.
Bye.
Bye.